Hi Pisces. So normally tarot is very personal for me, and I usually just use it as a way to pray to my grandmother. But with all the lockdowns and the quarantine, I don't really have much to do aside from my personal work, and I am branching out. I decided I'm going to give some messages. Uh, we'll see how this goes. I'm going to first start off with a general spread, and then I will do a spread for couples to see what your situation versus their situation is, and maybe hopefully give some advice. Um, so let's go. Ice. Oh, Jesus. Okay. So we're not messing around. Let's see. Pisces, 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 Pisces. Feel free to skip ahead if you don't want to watch this shuffling. It's just, I figure people like to see that I'm not making a message catered for you. You're seeing it as I'm doing it. I have no idea what we're going to see, and I'm not even really focused on trying to get a particular message out. What a mess. Okay. Bottom of the deck, we have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. So here we go. Okay. So for many of you, I think you're starting to come to this realization that you need to get out of your head. Possibly you need to stop being as lazy or really unmotivated as you have been for the past couple of weeks, which don't blame yourself. I think everybody is going through a new mental journey of how to deal with the circumstances of our lives. So if you have been anxious and bored, and especially if you were unemployed, it's okay, and it's absolutely normal if you just didn't really have any energy or any will inside of you to try to fix your situation, because some of you may not have known how, and you were trying to figure out how to fix your finances even though nothing was coming. I mean, it could be that your life was feeling very stagnant, and even though you were used to things, I guess, going through a certain trajectory, your nightmares and your fears about the situation was kind of preventing you from thinking that a new goal could possibly come and you can get back to work and figure out who you are again. But that ends because you have the Judgment card here. So something clear in your mind is going to happen, whether it's the fact that you're going to end up finding a new opportunity. Like if some of you are unemployed, for instance, you could start applying to online jobs or something that you can do that maybe it's not in your career and you're not used to it and you're a little bit defensive. You're trying to figure out, what can I do that isn't what I normally do. And even though it may not even satisfy you. Like it could, like if you were a hairdresser, for instance, and it's not like you owned your own salon or anything, but you can't work at the salon right now because the owner is not allowing people to come in, and you're trying to figure out, well, what do I do? Like, that's what I know how to do. I need to pay my rent, I need to pay my bills, whatever your situation is, and you could come up with, what resources do I have available to me? Like, if you have a computer online and you start applying to places, you figure out you can do some customer service calls or something, or you can fill out some sort of data, like something like that. It may not be what you're used to doing. Maybe you get a job at another place that is willing to train you for something that you're not used to doing, but it's okay. I feel like it's a matter of, do whatever needs to be done right now. It's not forever. So don't think about it in terms of, oh, this is what I'm going to have to do now, even though I spent all my energy training to do something else. That's not it. It's just a matter of, do what needs to be done right now, because you're focused on your finances. This is very you're focused on your finances and your stability, and you feel very unbalanced because of it, and you don't know who to reach out to. You don't know, maybe it's like an issue that some of you have no idea what to put on your resume because of the fact that you may have focused too much, or maybe you feel too scattered, or like for some people who've been in a job for like 20 plus years and now you suddenly have to find something new. You're like, what do I say in that? Like, how do I market myself as someone who can be a jack of all trades when I've only ever done one thing? And some of you may be looking at that as a weakness, that you have only one skill that you can offer, and it's the complete opposite. I mean, you have to be willing to walk away from that mentality that just because you put your energy into one trade or one industry or one type of job that you were comfortable with at the time, or even excelled at the time, does not mean that you trying to do something new in your life it's going to have you start from ground zero. In fact, it may be the opposite. I think because the final card you have here is the Three of Cups, so this could be an opportunity that you don't even see coming to you, that it brings new connections or brings new opportunities. You meet new friends, you meet someone new that kind of shows you that you have more to offer people. That was a message that was very clearly about work, and I don't think it's for some Pisces, maybe you don't have any problems with your work, so it could also just mean your relationship, or your relationships with friends, for instance. So some of you may be worried about the fact that you don't know if you're ever going to connect with someone again. I'm getting it because you have a lot of coins, so you're obviously concerned about finances, but you're also concerned about stability in your relationships. And so when you have that centered, this final stage is very emotional, and it means having to leave behind, I think, your tendency to always think you have to do things alone. I think some of you have been defensive in your past, that maybe you were hurt a lot, like people failed you very often, whether it was someone you trusted to give you stability, like your boss or your manager. Like, they said they would give you a promotion and then they never do. They never come through. So you end up working so hard for them and then you get nothing out of it. Or it could be a partner who you put devoted years into, or devoted time into, and they never give you commitment. So it's a lot of like, I don't rely on anyone else because they're never going to come through anyway. And I'm always here waiting around, and I can't wait around for them, so I have to act on my own. But because I don't know how to act on what is best for me, not on how, not that you don't know how to act on your own. You're very independent. That's the problem, that you're too focused on how can I do this by myself and get my independence by myself, that you may have been defensive to anybody who wanted to come along and give you something worthwhile to build. Now, I think that's more of a comment on the fact that maybe what you've been used to is unsteady, is not seeing the right elements. Maybe it's a lot of red flags. Like for some, it could be fighting a lot. But I think for most people, it's insecurity. Not thinking that you're good enough for something better. That you found what you're good at, and you're not willing to test waters that could show that you can do, that you're more than a one-trick pony, basically. That you can get a partner that's something you actually dream about, that actually meet your standards. I think you put yourself in a comfort zone, and as long as that's met, you're fine with it. And the fact that you're in a situation that forces you to branch out of that, leaving it feels like a risk. It makes you feel more defensive. It makes you feel like you're not steady. It makes you feel like it's not going to make you happy, and this is all talk, and this is all in your head, and ultimately you're going to be all alone again, worried about yourself, and what then? And I'm just saying that even if it feels very slow, even if it feels stagnant, just walk. Just walk with it. Explore it. Because part of the adventure of life is meeting new people who are going to vibe with you in a way you've never known. And I think this is just an opportunity really for you to let go of the past insecurities and actually meet that person. Now, some of you have already met that person or are currently dealing with someone. So I would like to do a reading for that. So I'm going to do a little spread to compare like how you are with that person. I'm sorry if that's really loud, so I cannot control how loud it is. But we're going to do a side-by-side comparison. I hope that makes sense. We're going to get a mentality for your situation first. And I'm going to get a mentality for your person. Oops, that was my phone. Sorry if you heard that. And now I am going to give some cards for both sides. move my mouse out of the way. And one card for the conflict. If there's a conflict, I mean, maybe you guys are fine. Okay. Bottom of the deck is death. And you know what? I'll do that afterward. Okay. So we have the Hanged Man for your mentality. So you're in limbo. That makes sense. You're insecure. You don't know what you're going to do. You don't know where your life is going, whether it's just your career, your money, your love life, whatever. You're kind of waiting to see what happens. Your partner has the Knight of Pentacles. Now, interesting, because over here we had the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, but this one is here. So maybe for some of you who are in a relationship, or if that wasn't a Freudian slip, who just got out of a relationship, you could be also feeling a little bit in limbo about your partner. So whether your partner is not doing okay, or they're doing okay without you, and you don't like that, because we have, again, the Nine of Cups in reverse as the conflict. It could be that your mental state, someone in the relationship is not feeling secure. And it could be you. I feel like you're really going through it, and it's affecting how you're behaving in the relationship. Now, I'm not going to jump before we actually go into the cards, but I don't think, like what I'm feeling right now, I don't think it's a matter of you sabotaging the relationship necessarily. Like you're not ruining things for yourself. It's the fact that it could be that your partner is concerned about you, that you are going into a deep depression, and they don't know what to do. If you're not with someone, it could be that you're in a deep depression about the fact that you've gone into a separation. So we are going to go here. You have the King of Pentacles in reverse. You have the Four of Pentacles in reverse, the Lovers in reverse, the Queen of Swords in reverse, the Seven of Swords in reverse, and the Page of Pentacles. My God, okay. I'm not laughing at you. It's just like, okay. We have some fears. I think ultimately you are concerned for the Pisces who, I'm not going to call you a workaholic, but what you do is very tied to your identity, and you don't want to let go of that. I think if you recently lost your job, or if your business is failing because of the current state of events, or something that you're being forced to work in a different way, and it is scaring the hell out of you, and you're worried that it's going to affect your relationship, your family, perhaps your livelihood, and I think some of you, if you're not expressing this to your partner, you're basically trying to contain the freak out that you're worried you're not going to be able to provide for your family, or if you lose this money, that it might break into like your relationship, and you don't necessarily want to rely on your partner for that. You don't want to tell your partner that you're struggling. I think eventually it's going to have to come out though, if you do need help. But you're trying to figure out how to fix it with what you have. You're kind of suffering in silence, which is not good, because I think when we look over here, your partner has Ace of Cups, the Sun, the Chariot in reverse, the Star, the Emperor, and the Ace of Pentacles. So your partner over here, okay, I feel like there's two messages. So for the, like, because that's wild. Your partner over here, if you are with them, they are in la-di-da mode. Like, they have no idea that anything is wrong. They're like, you know what? We're gonna figure this out. I'm very hopeful. Like my Pisces, they have their shit together. They haven't said anything. We're doing okay. Everything's under control. We'll figure things out. You know, all bad things come to an end, and we'll get more money if they think we need to make more money. They're not making any moves. Like, I think they're slow and steady. They're like, the machine is still going. Like, I don't see any problem. Meanwhile, you're over here like, no, our machine is breaking down. Like, and I think you may need to have a conversation with your partner and reach out to them and tell them like, hey, I'm not doing okay. Like, I know that you think we're doing okay, but I'm not. I'm about to break down. And for some of you, it may even frustrate the hell out of you that your partner is just totally unaware of how miserable you are right now. I think if you do have this conversation, it is going to spark a resurgence. Some of you may be risking a breakup, and I think maybe you're terrified of that. I think some of you, if you're not satisfied in the relationship but your partner is, they think there's an opportunity to work things out and you just don't. And if that's it, you can see that the signs are there that it's coming to an end, and you're just stalling it because you're not sure how you're going to move on from it at once it's over. I would say the time is now to have that conversation. You'll figure it out. If you're worried about ending a relationship with this person because you don't want to hurt them, you think that they're going to abandon you, don't worry about that. I think this person absolutely is just, they're trying to be an optimist. They don't see things as being as gloomy as you might be seeing things. But if you're worried about your finances because you rely on them, then that is something that you may need to plan that out. You may need to, maybe you need to reach out to a friend. See what you can do to kind of work out that gap period. As you, like, if you're living with them, for instance, you may need to just be at a friend's house and figure it out. Or if the coronavirus prevented you from doing that, I would say just, there are still ways to move around. People are still moving. People are still figuring out their situations. You just need to ask. I think you are assuming that there are no solutions, and that is never the case. You can always find advice from the right person, provided that you actually put yourself out there and ask those questions. Now, for the people who are single and who have just been in a recent relationship, I think it tears you up that on the outside, this person looks like they're getting everything they've ever wished for. Like maybe they got a new relationship and they're glowing, and maybe they got a new job or a new promotion, or their project got assigned. Something about whatever your former partner used to be, it could be making you feel insecure that you aren't thriving like you should be, yet your partner is, which is not a healthy mentality. You should never compare yourself with someone else's journey. Like, we're all on different paths. I don't think I'm gonna clarify just in case. Do you think this person is moving on? Because maybe they're not. I think they're just trying to be optimistic about their life, that they will get something new. We have the 9 of Wands in reverse, and we have the 4 of Cups in reverse. Yeah, I think they're not waiting around. They're not trying to let their past bring them down. That it has before. Like, I think it's interesting that they have the Chariot in reverse, 8 of Wands in reverse. Yeah, they're not talking to you. If you're single and you're just looking at this person have a great life, they're not 4 of Wands in reverse either. They're not talking to you, and they're not in a relationship with you, and they're not going to do anything about it. And I'm sorry to say that. I'm not saying that in you missed out kid kind of way. I think this person legitimately is just trying to move on and be optimistic about it, because they have the Knight of Pentacles. They are slow moving. I think they are more concerned in how can I be a better person, and especially because they have the Star here. Like, what are their goals? That card was already flipped over, so I'm gonna put that there. That was the Ace of Swords in reverse. They're not talking again. Anyway, back to here. What are their goals? What are they hoping for? 6 of Swords in reverse. Interesting. And the Empress in reverse. And interesting because they have the Emperor here. I think their goals is less focused on you or finding their other half, because maybe you weren't their other half. If you are, they're not focused on it. I think they're really trying to just be a better person. Yeah, they got the 10 of Wands. 10 of Wands. They're busy. They're working. They're Ace of Pentacles. What do we have here? Queen of Wands. Someone new may be coming into their life, or is already in their life, and it could be distracting them. And I don't know. Let's see. Because I feel like I just made it seem like, oh, they're doing great, they're moving on. Meanwhile, you're not having a great time. So, like, whatever, Pisces, deal with it. Like, no, I wouldn't say I'm a Pisces as well, so I'm not gonna say that. But I do want to focus on the fact that sometimes, I think we have 10 of Coins in reverse. I think sometimes we just get caught up on the fact that we're not in the place where we're making any progress on achieving our goals, And I think that's where it is. That you're projecting your perceived failures and insecurities onto your partner, that it may look like they're doing great And that's not necessarily the reality because they're not even focused on it. Like, the fact that they're not talking to you, but they seem like they're talking to other people, maybe they're flirting with someone else, maybe they got another job, and it has nothing to do with you, does not necessarily mean that they are doing great for them, because they're just trucking along. They're taking it day by day. It could be a situation that they're focused on. It could be that they're focused on, like, as long as I think good thoughts and pretend that things are good, it will be so. But they're not moving anywhere either. They're in place. It feels very mental and not superficial, but very, like, they're presenting themselves that way so that they feel better. You're not even in their thoughts in the sense of that's going to make them better. They're doing a lot of self-work here. And I think maybe you need to also do self-work. That, like, you are concerned about them, that you lost them, or that it's over completely. And I want to ask, is that true? Is that true? Oop. Okay. We have the Four of Cups. Man, the Four of Cups. Yeah, you guys are just in your thoughts. Like, that can't, and it's in reverse every single time. Like, coming out here. Three of Swords, heartache, and Knight of Wands. I mean, the other aspect is this person could be playing off as, like, a player. Whether they were... Maybe they seem like they're doing great because of the fact that they're hooking up, or they're just flirting with anybody. Maybe that's it. And you took it way more seriously. You were hurt a lot more by this, and you were in your head about it, and now you're coming out of it. But you're not talking about it. And what is the Seven of Swords here? What are you feeling deceived? Maybe you thought this person was something that they're not. And Nine of Coins in reverse, and Ten of Swords. Yeah. Interesting. I think for some of you, okay, this isn't going to apply for everybody, but there are some people who, I think when the going got rough, this person left and you were dumbfounded by how quickly they were to just change their tune, go after someone else, get new things, and you had to deal with all the damage. For others of you, I think you feel like you're a fraud to this person. I think some of you really put this person on a pedestal and you don't feel worthy to them. You don't have anything. Like, you think you don't have anything. That you don't have your finances all together. You don't know yourself as much. That you can't fix it. You feel lost. You do not feel secure in yourself. Again, like I said before, it's very mental. I don't think anything has actually been spoken about. And this person has no idea that you think these things about yourself. And especially not in a comparison way. This person looks like they're having a great time, but they're not doing anything. I want to focus on the fact that the Chariot is in reverse. They're not it. I don't see 10 of Cups here. I don't see 10 of Coins here. Like, everything's new. Everything's the idea of it. They have Ace of Cups, Ace of Pentacles, Star, the Sun. It's like there's a lot of potential here, and maybe you see that they present themselves as a person who could be great at things, but they're moving very slowly. They don't really have anything. They could have everything, because you see them as someone who could be amazing, and the fact that you're not together is, I don't know, like some of you are thinking that you're not together because you're not worth it. And that's absolutely not true, Pisces. I think you will fix things. And by fixing, I mean, I think you will discover things. I think just as how Death was over here, you're going to have a rebirth. But you need to have the self-esteem. I mean, I think these are all tangible things in your head. You're worried about money. You need to be innovative. You need to start thinking outside of your comfort zone on what's possible for you. Like, I don't want to hear that I'm not worth it. I can't do anything. I'm not trained in anything else. I can't offer anything else to my partner except this one thing. No, that's not true. Like, you are absolutely worth things. See, you have the Fool here coming up. I think you need a new beginning. You need to start something that you've never done before. Queen of Hearts. You need to love yourself again. Like, it's gonna be okay. I think you need to have a conversation. If not with this person, with a friend. You need to talk to someone, because I think you've been limiting yourself on the ideas that you can have. Because you've been holding on to it. You've been holding on to all of these thoughts. But if you let go of it, you'll have security. Nine of Cups here. You need to love yourself, Pisces. You're looking at this person like the ideal. And I'm telling you that that's not necessarily true. Not that they're a bad person, not that they're like, it's not like they've been lying to you or anything. I just think you're making someone appear to be like an emperor when they're really a knight, or they're really a page. Like, they're just as lost. They just have a different mentality about it. Whereas you feel lost and you feel like you're going to stay lost and everything's going to not work out for you, this person is optimistic and is just doing things one day at a time. And because they're doing things one day at a time, they're having a little bit of progress each day. And so they look more successful because they've had progress and you've been over here in limbo. And at the moment that you give yourself a chance and have a new beginning and start loving yourself and letting go of all of your insecurities, then you'll get that self-security. So don't be afraid, okay? I'm telling you, it's all a mental thing. I did not get anything about like another person except potentially over here, but I think that's more about your fear than it is like an actual reality. And if it is reality, you know what, who cares? Like, I don't feel as if this person is like, you are on two different wavelengths, And I think you're hanging on to them because they seemed so good. And I want you to focus on yourself, that you are great. And you will see how great you are the moment you start to love yourself over loving someone else. Okay? Bye, Pisces.